Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our September edition of our virtual Heritage Wilmot meetings. Welcome to those viewing online or either live or afterwards. I'll start off with a Territorial Acknowledgement, so I'll share that with the group. We have gathered virtually in Wilmot Township on the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Mississauga peoples. We also want to acknowledge the importance of the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, a peace agreement made between Indigenous nations before the Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and Mother Earth. We should take only what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant and the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, we are reminded of our important connection to this land where we live, learn, and work together as a community. Next item is disclosure of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Do any members have any interest to disclose? Seeing none, we can move on to the review of the minutes from the November 10th meeting. Any comments, questions, omissions? Yvonne, I know you noted that the Waterloo Oxford should be Oxford Waterloo in the
That's right.
respect to the bridges.
That's the only thing that I noticed.
Okay, so we'll make that change for the final version. Motion to approve the amended minutes with Waterloo Oxford switched. Al, seconded by Jen. Any other comments, questions? All in favor? That's carried. Thanks, everyone. Okay, on to business items. First item I had under there was the Bridge Street Bridge EA update. So since our last meeting, I was contacted by a township engineering staff to review and discuss our comments. Tracy and I met with Jeff Mullenhouse and Mark Jeffrey the other week. We had a good meeting. Staff are wrapping up the EA report to bring to council, and will recommend endorsement of the EA. So it would seem that a new bridge is required, but the recommendation may include further investigation of relocating and reusing the bridge span for another use. We did talk with them about possible repurposing it for a trail section, either over water or not, as an option to look at, and then in combination also with a commemorative feature, because we talked about that as well. So I know they're still finishing the process internally, and I think they're anticipating early in the new year to bring a recommendation forward to council. I don't know, Tracy, if you had any other updates beyond that. No. So that's the latest, and township staff committed to get back to us once they've sorted that out, and then as it starts to head towards going to council for recommendation. So that is the update on that. Any questions, comments? Seeing none. Make sure I can see everybody on one screen. Okay, I can. Next item was the water lot. So following the discussion last time, Tracy and I prepared the letter to the property owner indicating the support for the application from the Heritage Committee. They were very pleased with our support. So we got that letter finalized, provided to them, and then they can provide it with the Heritage Foundation along with their grant application. Tracy, I know you spoke with the owner as well. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, so she actually just left a message later today and asked that we review the application just to make sure from a wording point of view if there's anything else we can help make a stronger application. But she has everything that she needs from the committee with the letter, also the page from the Heritage Conservation District study. And then she's got some great information about her property being part of the walking tour as well, which I thought might make a stronger application as well.
Oh, that's good too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they were expecting there to be a bit of a lag time between hearing back. But was it like May, June? Was that the timing that I'm here?
I think that's what her phone call was about with the when the Heritage Foundation meets again, but she needed to get the application in the next week or two for decisions, but I can keep everybody posted.
Okay. we'll stay tuned on that one. I'm moving on. The next item was the non-designated register update. So I know there, Tracy, you sent around the list of the photos to update. Thanks, Marg, for putting that together, and Tracy for adding some other things to it to look at. So I know we want to get those updated over the next little while. And then also thought we could talk about additions for this coming year. I know we've got the bridges that Mark and Yvonne, you guys are working on, and we talked about the properties along Herbs Road. And then I think from there was moving into the larger settlement areas, but happy to hear everyone's thoughts on that. Mark? Oh, you're muted. Mark, you're muted.
It was Snyder's Road from
Snyder's Road
to the boundary, Trustler.
Yeah.
We've done Herb.
Right. I was getting the roads mixed up there. So then with the bridges, the new photos, and then looking at Snyder's Road, not Herb. I think that'll probably keep us busy for this coming year. Al?
Just a point for Marg and Yvonne. Years ago, Gary Beach, a former member of the committee, had done some of his own personal work on Snyder's Road. So it might be a good idea to touch base with Gary. I know he got old photographs from some of the people. He talked to all the property owners. This had to be 15 years ago, maybe even longer. And so I'm sure he has, would still have that material. He could be very helpful for him.
Yvonne?
Thanks, Al. We'll try and follow up on that. The other place that Marg and I did visit already is the Arboretum.
Oh, yes.
And that was, yeah, and that was one that we had talked about prior to this. So we've actually been to the bridges and the Arboretum.
Excellent. I hear Christmas music. Maybe that was from Al. So the register was just on there really to remind everyone, keep talking about it. Tracy, was there other things you wanted to mention about the register? I can't quite recall.
It was, I think you've mentioned it with the updated photos and the ones that need to be the retakes for either the designated, which a lot of the designated ones are, they got some work being done on them, but the non-designated one, the group could maybe divvy up maybe end of January or so to have some updated photos and to relook at the list again on if there's any edits that need to be made. Because I know there's a school one that I already identified for 2022 to look into to perhaps change some wording on the school.
Okay. And yeah, I guess for the group meeting to talk about the register, Tracy can set up any Zoom meetings, or if, I don't know if you want to try and meet for coffee or something, but we'll leave it to you guys. And if you want us to, you need a hand with anything, let us know. Yvonne?
About how many pictures are there, would you say? Do you have any idea, Tracy?
I could just take a quick look at the list I sent.
Just a quick count.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because if there's any way to, because the list is geographical, right, by settlement. And if there were any way to sort of divide up the pictures geographically, So we knew approximately how many photos each person potentially would be looking at. That would be helpful.
Just a quick count, there's 16 on the non-designated.
That's not bad.
So between a handful of members to divide, I think it makes sense geographically as well, Yvonne. But it wasn't as large of a list as I thought. But yeah, 16, and I think there's about 6 for the designated, but quite a few of them we have to wait until probably late 2022 to do updated photos.
Okay,
Jen, I see your hand up.
thank you.
So do we want to meet in person to kind of go over that list and decide who's going to do what? Who was on that group? Yvonne?
I think I
Patty?
am. Yeah, I think so.
And I think Scott was.
Yep. That's Scott.
So it was the 4 of us, right?
I think so.
Okay. So maybe we can follow up with an email and decide how we're going to connect to decide who's doing what.
That's easy. Yeah, that's good.
That sounds great.
And I haven't done any picture taking for stuff like this before. I would really love to go with somebody for the first one.
Great.
You're assuming that we know what we're doing, but and of course we do.
You know what you're doing.
You're amazing.
Yeah,
Well, so we'll set up a meeting, I guess, and then we'll go from there. And we will share all our photography skills with you.
Tracy, the Ight House at the where is it now? Very West End on Herb is on the list to be redone, but it's not very old. I mean, it's only came on a couple of years ago or so. So we needed more views, I bet, is the issue there. I think we didn't have permission. I went with Marg and we were taking those photos, and I think
perhaps because and that's the thing to remember when taking photos, not to be on property. But I do have a letter, a generic, whenever your subcommittee decides to meet, I can email a letter that we present the homeowner, just to explain a little bit who everybody is, which I can forward. But I think Marg can probably speak to the Ight House on why it made the list. Maybe it was too dark or something like that.
well, that's fine. I can't remember. I just remember standing there taking photos, but then I know that we did not have permission to go on, and so we didn't. And then and it might be more views needed. So I'll talk with Mark. We're good.
Refresh my memory, Patty Clark, Patty Ight House, what end of Herb are we looking at?
So it's on the west end, the very west end where it curves up, and as it's crossing up the county line there.
On the right-hand
County or
side?
the township? On the north side, yes. Yeah.
Oh, the north. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, lovely stone house. But I can remember standing there because you and I were out and took a bunch of pictures, and I think we didn't get much there. I just was trying to see if Tracy recalled what it was. We'll look at it and we'll
Yeah,
solve
sure,
that.
we will.
Yeah.
We can do
Okay.
that.
Anything else for the register update? Gone. Next item is Heritage Week. So thanks, Tracy, for getting the ball rolling on that discussion, and also Yvonne for making the connection with the newspaper as well. So it would seem that the Wilmot Tavistock Gazette is on board to prepare something for us for Heritage Week.
Oh, good.
So now they need content.
Yes. So if I can jump in, I was just chatting again the last couple of days with her. So similar to last year, where if we had, say, 3 or 4 articles of interest that best represents the committee, and we could talk about what topics, and I could send around some ideas for that. Some things could be reworked from last year, and some things we get some fresh new content that we would submit, like 3 or 4 articles, maybe between 450, 600 words is what I had proposed. Supply it to them, and then coupled with, they would have other writers submit some heritage related articles, and that would be sort of the printed aspect from this committee. And then I had a meeting with Sherry Gropp on how she can support social media, which she really helped out the committee last year on. We had tweets almost every day, Facebook posts, sometimes twice a day, And I had asked some members to highlight some things, just to give a little bit of personality on things of interest, why we're on the committee, some of the successes and favorite projects from an education sort of point of view. So we were going to do that again, and she's already underway helping us with some photos and things, because we're going to have it all done by mid-January this year. So that
Sounds
will
like
be
a
in the
good
next, the next week or so. And I know it sounds a little bit early, but you know, before you know it, January's gone and it's February for Heritage Week. So we'll have everything all ready to go. And so I'll be looking for some writers and just some content as well, and ideas, of course, for some articles. And well, I'll email the group. We can still do it in the next week or so, but I'll suggest some articles for themes. Doesn't mean you have to go with it, but ones that I know people are intrigued by is repurposing of old buildings. So for instance, the old Blue Moon with the Ethiopian church in there, and some other, you know, buildings, whether it's imperial on old buildings and just repurposing in general, is making something old new again.
Mm-hmm. We could do something on bridges too, since there's a couple, well, recent and current studies, and since we're going to be adding some to our list, we could even talk about like schools, because we just added those. That would be interesting too.
We did schools last year.
Okay.
So I'll send a list of what we did last year and then what we could do this year to see if anything comes to mind.
Okay. That sounds good. So you'll send that out, Tracy, after tonight. All right. Any other Heritage Week things? All right. We can move on to new business. First item I had was the Cultural Heritage Landscape Project. So I understand that regional staff are coming to council in January to share an update. Tracy, Harold, I know you guys had talked to the region, I can't remember which one, but was there anything else you wanted to add on that item?
I guess it's January 17th is the council meeting that it's scheduled for. So if anyone's interested in tuning in, or if we're back live by then attending, but I'm pretty sure we're still virtual then. But.
Is it Bridget, Cody?
It's not Bridget.
Okay.
I can go through my email and see.
Okay.
It wasn't going to be Bridget. That Bridget set it up, but she's not going to be the one presenting.
You said the 17th, right? Okay. Excellent. We'll be good to see what they've been up to on that. And I guess a reminder for everyone too to check out the website, see if there's anything we would like to add. I poked around a little bit on the website. Let me go take a look again. Mark, I think you just your hand up.
Somebody will let us know how we watch the council meeting on the 17th, because I'll put it in my calendar. Like what the link is. Okay.
We will forward it to actually the entire committee once we have the link. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no problem.
That's great.
Sounds good. Next item I put on here was Bechdel farm site visit, just for a quick update to carry on from the discussions we had the other month. We're just working on obtaining property access so that we can visit the site and photograph the house. I know development services staff have been in touch with the owner to have a few members of the committee come out and visit. And Harold, you were going to try and confirm something with the property owner so that we could head out. I'm guessing probably maybe January at this point, but maybe later this month.
Yeah. His indication last week was that his tenant is leaving this week, and once he has the keys, he will notify us so that you guys would be able to access the full property.
Okay, great.
But he is waiting for the tenant. I think it's Friday, the 9th. I think that's tomorrow. I think when the tenant is leaving. So
okay, good. Excellent. I'll keep us posted. Next item was 1522 Bethel Road. request for some advice on wood trim and gingerbread repairs. So Tracy and I have been in touch with Karen Doan, who's considering some repairs or replacement to her wood trim on the house. So that includes the gingerbread, the kind of ornamental, she calls them like drops that drop down from the corners. Also some painting of the soffit and fascia, which, as we know, are important features of the property. So she's in the process of getting some quotes for the work, but she's reached out just to see if we had any advice for her as well. Some of the wood's in poor shape, may need replacing. So she's looking at different options there. Wondered if there was an opportunity for alternative materials. She was just seeing what different options might be. And then we also mentioned to her the possibility to apply to the Heritage Foundation for grants. And then Tracy found the list from the ACO of the directory of contractors that they could look at. So we had sent that off to her as well. But she was looking for, I guess, first anyone that we know that would be good to do paint and also repair work. And she doesn't have any plans finalized. She's still in the process of getting quotes. So I expect at the next meeting or the one after we'll have some more information from her on exactly what they're looking at and how much of the gingerbread is in okay shape to be painted again. If there's, I mentioned some sections I might have to have like recut, like you can almost use it as a template and cut a new section. So I don't know how much of it will need to be replaced versus repaired or painted, but just wanted to mention that for everyone and see if anyone has anyone they know of that would be good to pass on to her for painting and wood repair. Patty?
So she's talked to me a couple of times and it sounds
Okay.
like she's maybe more amenable now to to restoration or she just wants it. I mean, her first choice is, why do I have to deal with this? And can we just leave a little portion of it and so on? So that's good if she's looking at it with a more positive attitude. That's just great.
Mm-hmm.
And I know her and I can talk to, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of listening, but she just wants, she wants to know what it's going to cost. She wants a guarantee on that it's going to last, which is pretty hard when you're using wood outside. But so anyway, yeah. I think she should apply to the foundation, but I know things are up in the air there. So, and I'm not sure if it's fully 3 years since she last applied. You'd know that, Tracy, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I believe so.
I bet it is.
Yeah, and this particular one with the gingerbread, I mean, it's part of her designation.
Oh yeah.
And her house is actually featured on the Heritage Wilmot website. Like it is, when we talk about properties, out of all the homes in Wilmot Township, hers is the one we chose to best exemplify the architecture. So it's quite a significant feature. So anything we can do to support her on an application, to keep that unique feature, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mentioned that to her too about it being on the website, and tried to convey that, there's going to be some repair work needed, and that just there are options to do replacement parts if you need to. So I think she's just looking if we had anything else we could share with her. She did look at the ACO directory, and I think found it to be overwhelming. There's lots of information there, so she wasn't sure how to kind of pare it down.
I'll be seeing her next week, and we'll talk again.
Okay, good. Yeah. Tracy, I saw your hand up there.
I was just going to comment as well on, I mean, working anything with wood, it's encouraging property owners to have a maintenance program, and caring and repainting and maybe some of the advice when we deal with property owners on how to best maintain too, on have longer longevity if we have a regular maintenance program.
Mm-hmm. Al?
Hello?
Oh, there we go. Oh, you're muted there, Al. You were unmuted.
Okay, what's going on?
Oh, we can hear you now. Oh, now we can.
Are we good?
Yep.
Okay. A number of years, well, more than a number of years ago now, there used to be a magazine put out called Edifice Magazine.
Remember that one.
It still exists, not as a magazine, but they have, Tammy and I took a webinar with them a week ago, and it's still Dr. Christopher Cooper. And they have, it's called Edifice Atelier and Guild. So he has trained people on different aspects of restoration. And they have a full list of the people that they've endorsed to do restoration work, whether it be wood, plaster, and he offers different workshops. So that's a possibility too. And because we're looking to have, well, we took in the workshop, and interestingly, what Tracy said, the workshop was on maintenance. And I've taken workshops from them over the years for the past, I think, probably 25 years off and on. And we lost touch or lost contact with them. So we signed up for this thing, and it was on maintenance and what you should do on an ongoing basis with your property. But anyway, he does have people with this type of skills that would be necessary to do work on gingerbread and stuff like that.
Okay, that's great. Tracy, did you have something too?
While Al was talking, I just quickly Googled Edifice, and it says Old Home Living by Edifice. And oddly enough, that they feature Castle Kilbride in there, which I didn't even know. This is a fine view, and it has a Belvedere, so it's talking about Castle Kilbride. I'll send the link for this because Al, that's a great idea on some of the resources on this. It's called Old Home Living by Edifice. So I'll forward that to the committee. But who knew they featured?
I have some of their editions of the magazine from back when they did have it published.
Yeah, I've got all the editions.
Oh, do you?
But they're going to be, they're reissuing. He's actually still has a publication that's online. So he's doing new stuff, but he's also redoing, they're going to be redoing an article on our house, which was in the magazine. But so there are articles that they're putting out there too. And he also has I'm not sure where you access this, but he has videos that he's made that are like almost like episodes for television.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to check it out.
I just thought of another one actually, because I've tapped into this place for some of the work at the museum, but Willowbank in Niagara.
Yeah.
So they're still deemed as Canada's premier heritage conservation school. And I know sometimes under the direction of they'll have some of the students, and I've had some at the museum on with proper direction, but hands-on experience from Willowbank. That actually
that's a good idea.
So I will, Nick, I'll send the entire committee the link to Edifice and the link to Willowbank, because if members haven't seen Willowbank, it's a really it's an interesting school they have there, and right up our alley.
I just remember too that Karen had sent me a few pictures of the trim. So I'm going to try and share that with everyone just so you can see what it looks like. Let's see if this works. Everybody see that? Awesome. So just a section of you can see the underneath and the gingerbread. Well, let me switch with these. Oh, there we go. So there's, let me see if I can make this bigger. So a couple of the drops. It's interesting, it's like a heart shape in it too. It's very neat. Yeah.
Those drops are very unique.
Yeah.
We have nothing else like it in Wilmot Township. The gingerbread, the reason this house came up early in the designation process was simply because of the gingerbread. It's a great stone house, but it was the gingerbread that really pushed it to up the priority list, as well as
Yeah.
a very willing property owner. But those pieces they're remarkable.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it anywhere in all the houses I've looked at.
Yeah, I
Not
haven't
drops
either.
like that. Nope. Mm-mm.
And she said that the pieces that have fallen off, she has collected them.
Oh, good,
So she has them, so they can be repaired and put back on.
good.
They can be used as a template if they have.
So yeah, she just sent those this afternoon. So thought I would share those with everybody.
Mhm. Good.
So we'll see where the discussion goes. I'll circle back with her after this meeting and just provide those resources we talked about, and maybe I'll take a look at the ACO directory too. I don't know if anyone else is that familiar with it. Mark, have you
Yeah.
much experience with it? I know you were certainly involved in it. Is there anyone from the list that you know people have worked with that have had a good experience?
No, I haven't looked at the list lately, but there'll be people there, and certainly Tracy's suggestion of Willow Bank, and there's a planing mill in Sebringville.
Yep.
And they may be able to reproduce gingerbread like that. Are you familiar with the one I mean, Nick?
Yep, they
Yeah.
did the wood on our front porch for us.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we had a really good experience with them.
Oh, yeah, they're terrific. They've been around for quite a while.
And it's held up pretty well too. It's been almost 10 years since we did our porch, and it still looks good.
Good.
Just touch up paint every few years. And it's pretty good. Okay, well that sounds good. So I'll get back to her after this meeting tonight. I think we can move on then. The next item was 2022 work plan. So it's that time of year where we start looking forward to what the committee will be up to for the coming year. It's useful to just help guide us along, and also for Tracy related to budgeting, with that coming up, if there's anything that needs to be included, then we can do that. So I know there's some things we've talked about as a committee, things we'd like to do. I just kind of wanted to open it up and see if anyone had any ideas today on what we wanted to include on our work plan. We can build on this list afterwards as well, so that hopefully in the new year we can kind of have our list of things to do. So I know obviously we have the non-designated register updates that we've already talked about, so we'll have those coming up in the new year. Anyone have anything they wanted to bring up or chat about? Patty?
Okay, so I couldn't get another another device open here. This Tracy, the Wagner House. Do we need to say something at this meeting? I'm just thinking that with the changes going on at the Heritage Foundation, we might, if they want to move on this, we should get that. I will work with them and get it in.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk as a committee? I mean, it's a designated house, so.
Sure. I mean,
I forgot about that one, Patty. Thanks.
Good. Do you want, I can give a quick overview on where we are up to date. So the Wagler property behind the high school, it's a designated beautiful stone house. The front porch needs some help. And so Patty has kindly agreed to help out with working with the property owners, because it is part of a defining feature of the designation as well. And knowing there's several applications from Wilmot Township too coming for work, helping the owners submit the quotes to either replace, enhance, conserve, restore. We don't quite know the details of the condition of the porch at this point. But to help the property owners submit a good, strong application. So Patty's sort of the liaison for the committee on with the property owners. But I do think that once they have, I think they have one quote, if they need one or two more quotes, we can help them actually write and submit the application. So, which is great having so many applications from this township
Mhm.
through the Heritage Foundation. I think we're going to probably have about 3 or 4.
Tracy, do we know if it's the porch that they are going to be focusing on, or do we not know quite what that is yet?
Based on my conversation the other day, it is the porch.
Okay.
Yeah. There were some other projects, but they have already done that during COVID. They did some of the other projects, from my understanding, but porch is the main focus one right now,
Okay.
which again would be a really strong application because it's such a defining feature for that house.
Mhm. Do we maybe need a motion to do a letter of support for to go along with the application?
Mhm.
I see Patty nodding.
Yes, well, I just like to be able to get it in, you know.
Yeah.
It says, it's time is of the essence on that one, I think, so.
So then I guess a motion to prepare a letter of support for the, I guess we'll call it restoration or renovation of the porch, front porch, to be submitted with the application for the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
Patty? Second? Mark?
Oh.
And Jen? All right. Anything else to add on that one? All in favor?
Well, yeah,
Oh, no, good.
it's all good. Well, I'm concerned about their roof. I wish they would let us know if they fixed that roof. But anyway, Steve and I went to see them shortly before COVID, and they were all gung ho to do the roof. But it wasn't an easy one because they did not want to do a cedar roof, and yet they wanted to go for funding. So I mean, hopefully they've just done it, but I don't know, because they were using pails all through the upstairs, and it was pretty severe. Yeah.
And the email, Patty, that I sent the other day and copied you on, like I haven't heard back yet. So the
No.
second, like if either of you here, let me know and vice versa,
Yes.
so we can stay on it and for the letter of support, like both Nick and I, we just went for the water lot. So we most certainly can just rejig it and have it. And I can send a hard copy to them as well to have it, and I'll keep one on file so we can get the application moving.
Yeah, I think if we get it in, this month rather than let it sit over, because that's a pretty fluid
I agree.
situation there. So.
I agree.
Okay. I missed the all in favor. So we had Patty and Mark / Jen. So all in favor? That's carried. Excellent. Yeah, so Tracy and I will work together to put a letter together for them. And then you said you've been emailing with them, Tracy and Patty? Okay. So we can just send it by email. And then I think you sent a hard copy anyway for the water lot.
I send a electronic copy and then a hard copy I'll mail for their records as well.
Okay. Thanks for mentioning that one, Patty. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so the work plan for the committee for next year. So I know we're updating the register. I know we've talked about possible designations. I recall there being a property owner that was interested when we were doing the updates this year, but I can't recall now who that was.
It's one of the schools, so we'd have to kind of do a proper assessment. Yeah.
Okay. Mark?
Do we have any further information on the possible designation? I think as you go into New Hamburg, before you come to the T where you have to turn left or right over the Hartman Bridge, there's a church on the right-hand side. Is that St. George's Anglican, right?
Yes, we've approached them several times. So between St.
Okay.
George and St. James, because they own both, there wasn't any interest at that time for a designation.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I can. Nick and I did a presentation.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I can circle back again, New Year, and ask them again if they are interested. But I do agree.
But if they're not, does that mean St. James won't get done either? Because those two churches are connected, right?
Absolutely, yeah, they own both, and so I can inquire. I will put that on my list.
Yeah, because they're both very important architecturally and historically, for sure.
Mhm.
And they should be designated, no question.
I will. inquire.
Anything further on the sale of the Angie's in St. Agatha? He's got it up for sale. There's no sold sign on it because I go by it quite often, but he's asking a lot of money for that property. But it goes way back. But that's a very historic building.
Mhm.
And the only thing that we've done with it is put it on the non-designated list. He certainly wasn't interested in designation a few years ago. So I'm a little bit concerned about the building, since it's up for sale.
Mhm.
What would the zoning allow? Harold would know that.
We're putting you on the spot.
That's all right.
Yeah, hopefully not a tear down in a high rise like they do in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Zone 5 allows pretty much any commercial or light industrial use. It's the old village commercial zone from the 60s. So biggest issue on that property would be sewage disposal for a commercial use. The property has a lot of hard surfacing, quite frankly, and not a lot of aeration. So any purchaser would have to address making sure the septic system is fully functioning. So that's probably the biggest limitation to any redevelopment of it.
And if it were for residential, what would be the restrictions there? Or would you do residential there? Or would you just the zoning
Residential in
allow?
that zone, you have to have a residential use. You can have residential on the main floor or above, but it has to have a permitted commercial use on the main floor. So you'd have to
Oh.
create a suite of commercial use, and then you could do residential on the main floor or above. But
How many stories does the zoning allow? Roughly.
probably 3 realistically. I don't have it in front of me, but
Yeah,
just
okay.
picturing the one on the corner across from where Sean's Country Cupboard used to be, that one's about 3 stories. So
Well, it's
Probably- probably that height.
2 full stories plus an attic.
yeah, so
And there's
if somebody
really-
wanted to do residential, they'd probably try. Residential would probably be limited by septic. So I think that would be my guess. Just residential really can, well, so can a restaurant, quite frankly, use a lot of capacity in a septic system, especially on that
Okay.
property. So
Yeah.
seems
Okay.
like a big property, but it's actually it's mostly building. It's actually not a really big property.
Couple of acres according to the real estate ad.
I'd have to pull it up. I can probably do
Mhm.
that during the meeting and send you a new
No, it's
photo.
okay.
No,
all
it's just for interest sakes.
Yeah,
But
he
I
wants a
do,
couple.
I do recall that
Mm.
it's got a lot of parking area all around the
Right,
building and
yeah.
another building out the back, right?
Right, yeah, the asking price, I think, is over 3 million, am I right? I think it's a couple of million.
I
know
didn't think
that.
it was that high. I thought it was maybe 2. at the
Maybe
most.
2 something, I'm
I
not.
don't think it
sure
was 3.
anymore. But it's. Yeah.
It's a neat,
maybe.
neat building.
Oh, yeah, it's early, it's really good.
It had a serious fire in the past.
That was way
really?
back when,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Long time ago. So a lot of the interior was redone at that point.
Oh, I see, okay. Any word on the plans for the church, Livingston Presbyterian and the little White House that used to be the Baden Hotel? Any word on what's happening there? What the owner wants to do with it? I assume it's the same owner that bought both parts, right? No?
No, it's not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, they've been purchased by different parties.
Ah, Hmm.
There is a demolition permit that's been applied for the old house.
Oh, great.
Oops.
It is that one.
So that was
What-
circulated, I believe, to
was
to
it?
Nick and Tracy.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
right. That was a little while ago.
Did we hear about it or did I miss an email on that?
No, it's not on our list.
It's not on
So
the list.
yeah, so it's not on our non-designated list. So which is why.
Well, that's
I
because
guess
we
so.
haven't gotten to all of Baden. That's why
Yeah.
it's not on the list. What's the
But-
date of construction? Does anybody know for the White House?
Oh, I don't.
Roughly? No?
I just know the church.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I got a lot of file. I could try to pull it up for you. Get have access to it.
It would probably be a good idea to at least photograph that place from the street.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to
Oh,
mention
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
and
gonna
that's our
mention-
protocol is that development services are new. We circulate regardless of whether it's on the registry or not to give
Uh-huh.
heads up and opportunity to photograph before it's. So that was the purpose of the circulation, was to give that heads up.
Has the owner told you what he wants to do if that building's demolished? What's he gonna put on the lot, or what's he want to do with it? Or is that secret?
Reasonably, it'll be multiple residential units with apartments in the basement.
So a couple of stories?
Probably bungalow, based on
bungalow.
based on similar dwellings that went in down the street. It's probably be
Okay.
somewhat of a raised bungalow with a basement apartment, but I haven't seen the
Oh, yeah.
plans yet for that.
Okay.
So you'll end up with 4 units where there was 1, which again, in terms of affordable housing and attainable housing, is the kind of project that there's a really high demand for. So from that
there is.
perspective, it's
Yeah. Okay.
And yes, on that, I was going to mention, so we had been in contact to try and get some photos of the building. So we'll be able to do that. We just have to get in touch with the property owner, and then we can go take some photos. See if we can get some of the inside as well. But
Oh, yeah,
outside for
that'd
sure.
be good.
Yeah.
To look at the construction in the basement, the beams and all that kind of stuff. Tells
Yeah.
you a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I can keep you apprised of that, Mark. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
when
that'd be
my-
great.
Thanks for the reminder on that. And also Harold too, we appreciate you guys circulating the applications to us just so we know what's up. And like, this property is not on the register, but it's definitely an older home. So it's good to take
Well,
photos of.
it's the old Baden Hotel. I didn't know
Yeah.
that, but that's what it was.
I can you circulate? I would go along when they're doing the photographs and help with that
Mhm,
if I could. Be interested in seeing it.
Great.
All right. Any other hot topics people wanted to include in our work plan for next year? I jotted down also, there's the CHL project, which is ongoing. So I expect there'll be some support from the committee as that project goes along. I know they wanted to have a workshop or something with us at some point. So maybe in the new year we can do that. Tracy, I see your hand up.
I had jotted down, like from this past year or so, I jotted down a couple things that I just kind of keep on this ongoing list. So I know you mentioned the non-designated, whether or not we want to explore designated, of course. When it came to the Heritage Conservation District property owners, to relook at the package that we could circulate to all the owners, and then how we had offered to provide some support on maybe some addresses that we could properly circulate and either introduce or reintroduce our committee and what support we can provide and educate them about what it means being in the district, and funding, of course, that could be available. And with that same package, we could tweak it for designated property owners, because it's been quite a while for some owners that haven't heard from us.
Mhm.
And then again, a nice time to either reintroduce or introduce our committee to the property owners for designated. We also were talking about, the CHL you mentioned on the inventory, Heritage Day 2022. Then the other one that I had, obviously presentation, like 1 or 2 presentations to council for an update from the committee as well. And the last one was about a coffee table book from the committee. So the last one that was in 2000. So in 2025, it's going to be the 175th anniversary of Wilmot Township on following the 2000 on. It's been a while. Just a new book, great photos, following a similar theme where we could have different topics, new topics that perhaps have never been shared like in a coffee table book before, and archival things, but a really nice comprehensive great picture kind of a coffee book that would explain the history.
That would be great.
And new history of Wilmot Township as well we could do.
Mhm. That would be wonderful.
And
Mm.
I had jotted down some points, and obviously with over the years, especially Mark, with you helping with architecture and what is unusual. And we had, I don't want to say it was Ron Brown. They came into the talk on maybe it was Ron Brown, the architecture book. Do you remember that one, Mark? We did
Tom Cruikshank.
Cruikshank, that's right, on what makes Wilmot Township significant, and but also pointing out historical features, natural features. We could talk about even sort of the early history, pre-settler history here on pointing out some features.
Yeah, the indigenous would be
exactly
good.
Baden Hill and other areas on a really inclusive coffee table book. So that is, and it will take, and although it seems far away, it will take us a couple of years to do this. So the sooner we start on what kind of topics we want to share, and then it's finding and tracking down people, and it's, to find the best photos possible. So that's a big one. So I've got that on just suggestions and things I've been noting for the committee.
Great. Thanks for those additional ideas, Tracy. Jen, I see your hand up.
When you mentioned, Tracy, the inclusion of history previous to settlers being here, I know like with developments that are happening, we have archaeological dig reports that are done for pretty much everything these days. I think it'd be really awesome if we could be circulated as a committee on those when they come forward. And I believe they go to Harold Okrafka's department when they're as part of the planning process. Isn't that correct?
Yes, they are actually. Development applications require them. Environmental assessments also require them. So there would be, they would be submitted. We have them on file. So, but certainly it wouldn't hurt to circulate them if you're interested in them. I don't see that it would be a difficulty to circulate those.
Should I reach out to, or should someone reach out to Director Molenhouse as well? Do they, when you said engineering, like for the bridges and roads and stuff,
they definitely would be completed and posted, similar to how we post development applications. We post them all on our website. So, say the Hallman Pit application, which is sort of predominant right now. If you go to our website on that, it's posted there, the study, but it'd probably be most appropriate probably for Tracy to deal with that. But Tracy, you can ask me for them and I'll be happy to send you mine.
Can I just ask you now? No, it sounds good.
Yeah, it just adds like literally 2 clicks and we can circulate it. It's very...
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I know some of the reports that I've seen, and it's really, I don't know. I find it fascinating.
It's interesting to read about. Just with the work I do, I get to read lots of them too. So yeah, they're always interesting. Okay, well, maybe what we can do is put together a little list for what the work plan might look like. And some things obviously will go beyond next year, like if we're doing a book, that'll take a while. But then we can send it out then as a draft, and we can take a look at it, and if there's anything else that we think we'd like to add, and then we can finalize it at the next meeting.
I'd be happy to, some of the points, and based on some of the other ones shared, to at least start the list and send it to the committee. Maybe for January, we'll put that on the agenda because it's a nice thing to give us focus.
Yeah.
Without us when we get sidetracked and
start off the new year. Okay, great. I think unless there's anything else on, oh, Harold, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I pulled up on the GIS the Angie's property. Just if you're interested, I could just share my screen or.
Sure.
But it's about 0.8 of an acre, actually. It's not a very large property. But
Real estate ad says it's more than that.
Hmm.
Huh.
well, I'm
0.8.
not sure if I have a share. I don't know if I can share, actually.
Yeah, I just gave it to you there, Harold.
Okay,
As a co-host, it should be a little green button down below saying share screen.
there we go.
I was just about to look and see.
Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, there it is.
So you can see the property is almost entirely hard
Paved.
surfaced. Well, it's not, it's some of it's recycled asphalt, but so it's a big property, but it's, you know, it does have limitations from a septic perspective. So,
Mm,
which could impact its redevelopment, but
right.
we're open to discuss anything from a redevelopment perspective. I don't want to make it sound like it has, it certainly has potential, but I just thought that would be of interest to you to see how that property actually lays out.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
Interesting. Thanks, Harold. All right, Patty.
Tiny little thing. This is to do with the non-designated list. And there's a property, 147 Snyder's Road West, that we have, that was mentioned before, and then I kind of forgot about it. And it came up in a meeting, and this has got to go back at least 2 years, but the owner's interested to put it on the non-designated list, and Mark spoke well of it at the time that we, so anyway, if we could, whoever's 147 Snyder's Road West, it's Brent and Marie Pavey.
It's where?
It's sorry, the owner is Brent and Marie, or the owners are Brent and Marie Pavey, Pavey,
147?
Snyder's Road West.
Oh, okay.
I think I might have shown you a couple of pictures. It came up at a meeting, and it's a long time ago, and
It's a
slipped
beautiful
my mind.
home.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I got a tour of it recently, and
good.
it's really been beautifully maintained.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Can't recall what it looks like at all. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
a yellow brick. It's right. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of what street it's
Yeah. I'm trying to too.
corner of.
But it is on a corner. It's corner property there.
Mhm. Miller Street.
That might
Maybe?
be, anyway, I just don't want it to fall
Miller.
off again.
It is
That we-
Miller.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Miller.
Okay, good.
I have it up on Street View, so I will share my screen.
Yeah,
here.
that's great.
And there's the corner right there. Everyone see it okay?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Which side
so.
of the Snyder's Road is it on? North or south?
So,
South.
South side.
It's
Okay.
right across. Yeah, it's right across
Turning
the
there.
blue
Oh, yeah, there we go.
building, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I always recognize it.
Well, that was the Miller house, wasn't it? The blue one?
It
At
is,
one
yeah.
time?
Still
Or
is.
still?
Mhm.
Okay, I know the one you mean for sure.
Yeah, that would be a good one to add.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're on to correspondence or any other info sharing. Anyone have anything? Al?
You're muted, Al.
How's that? There we
Mhm.
go.
You're good.
We've been talking a lot about the Heritage Foundation tonight, and I may be a little out of touch on this one, but I was reading something in the press that a study that was done on the region saving money by some accounting firm
Yes.
There's a recommendation that they funding from the region based on so much anyway be either stopped or held back.
That's
And
right.
I just wondered what the status of that, if anyone knows what the status of that recommendation is, and whether it's a permanent thing or just for a 1 year kind of thing that they're talking about. Because if that's true, then that means that's going to really dry up, which for Wilmot Township residents is the only source, since we do not offer any. I don't know why we don't offer any. It's something that we should think about. But if that's gone, there'll be nothing available to property owners here in any of the townships, not just Wilmot.
It sounds like a work plan item now to look at the grant program.
So they were in budget meetings today, I think. Does that sound right? Anyway.
I think the budget final is December the 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And you're right, Al, it was in the paper. And at one time, I remember the start of the Heritage Foundation, Jack Young was the first regional chair, and he started that. And it was 25 cents per capita. And then it got reduced later on to less than that, but it's been a great source. So Patty knows about that, of people getting help with restoring and restoration. It's been really great. It's gone to a lot of different people and churches and so on. So if that dries up, that's a problem for sure. City of Waterloo doesn't have any funding either. Cambridge does.
Kitchener does too.
Kitchener
Yeah,
does
a little bit.
tax stuff. Yeah, property tax stuff, but otherwise.
Kitchener also has a $3,000 matching grant every year on Part 4 designated. Maybe Part 5, I'm not sure, but Part 4 for sure. Because we've been accessing that at the Stuckley Farm.
Right.
Yeah, and the Heritage Foundation gave a nice grant to restoration of the castle when the castle was restored.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
I've also gone, I've gone twice for projects inside Castle Kilbride too. So several times.
They also funded a good chunk of the Heritage District Conservation Study for the Hamber. None of those things would have, without that money, it's not only affecting property owners, it's affecting, the municipality. It's affecting people who publish books.
I was just gonna say, yeah, publication is another big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yvonne?
Maybe,
I'm just wondering, is this the sort of thing that we could write a letter of concern about this potentially either being reduced or totally removed? We're talking about important funding here. Can we put this in writing and just express it from Heritage Wilmot to the region?
I think that's a good suggestion, a very good suggestion.
I
I'm
think
just
so
jotting
too.
that down. I like that idea.
Yeah. So they were having quite a few delegations this evening. I think it's this evening.
They got 30 delegations. It'll be
Okay.
It'll be a late one.
Right.
Well, maybe we need to talk to our representative on regional council as well.
Maybe both. We'll write a letter and talk to them. I agree that I think it's something that's worth raising for sure.
Absolutely.
Jen?
I'm just, I don't know, so I know they have a bunch of delegations tonight, but I don't know how many more meetings there are. And delegating, I think, is more effective than just writing a letter.
I think they're finalizing it. Am I right? On December the 15th? It's not very far away. I think I could.
Even though tonight might be the last meeting on the budget, when the budget does go to council for approval, regional council for approval, you can still, I assume, apply as a delegation, bring it up then.
Okay.
In
Okay,
that
well,
case, I would
let's
write
look
the-
into it. Oh, sorry, I was going to say, well, let's look into it then and see what options might be.
Yeah, well, we should fire something off right away as soon as possible, and then look into the possibility of registering as a delegation for that budget approval.
Mhm.
Is that because it's probably hasn't even been brought up. As other than what was in the paper, I doubt there's been most of the delegations presenting at regional council have been opposed to the police
Yes.
budget.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got any, I haven't had any emails about it at all, just nothing. So I don't know.
Mhm.
Sorry, Jen, did you have something to add to? Okay.
Al pretty much said what I was going to say.
Okay.
Write the letter and then follow up.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Well, I will happily draft up a letter to send in,
Great.
and then between Tracy and I will send it off to the region.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
That's
Al?
great.
Yeah, I've got another one. This one, I'm a little reluctant to bring this one up, but I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to mention the person's name. And Tracy, you can probably help me with this. I had someone call me late last week, someone I've known for a long time, who owns a small, I think it's a straw box or a straw cutter. I'm not exactly sure which. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But anyway, it was produced at the New Hamburg Manufacturing Company. It says New Hamburg Manufacturing Company on it. And as far as I know, it's one of the few things that still is out there that was made by the New Hamburg Manufacturing Company, which was located on Field Street beside the Genfoot building. They made traction engines, and the engine that's painted on the wall or on the mural at the grandstand is based on one of their engines. Anyway, this person he's looking to get rid of this piece, and I'm not too sure. He called me. I know it's a big 3-dimensional artifact, so I doubt the municipality accepts things like that, but I want to get back to him. I just don't know what to tell him.
Maybe after the meeting, or maybe like even the next couple, if you want to give me a call, like maybe I've got some ideas.
Okay.
And even if he was able to take a quick photo and send it your way so I can see as well. But there's also collecting, depending on what it is, for what we'll call like industrial art outside.
It wouldn't last outside because it's all wood.
So something like that.
Wood. Yeah, it's not like, yeah. Now there is the possibility there are some private collectors in the municipality that I know about who might be interested in something like that if we can't go,
so
the route of doing it.
So the curator in me would say no private collectors, and would say to the Waterloo Regional Museum.
I don't think they'll take it either. They've stopped taking stuff like that years ago, unless they've changed.
Well, just to at least ask and just see. You never know if it's that. And I know I do have some documentation. We're doing the mural that you shared with me on images, and I think I might have a couple other things but at least just see if they were interested, since they do collect for Wilmot as well. Things that I can't house.
Mark?
Al, what exactly is it? Maybe I missed what you said.
It's either a straw box or a straw cutter. Okay. It's not a huge piece, but it's still a fairly big piece.
Is it mechanized and runs off a belt, or how does that work?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I'm not sure if it's hooked up to run off of. Would have been hooked up. I imagine it might have been hooked up to run off of a small hit and miss gas engine.
Oh yeah.
But it's been a long time since I've seen it. Just to kind of give you a bit of history about it, I was at an auction sale and this thing was sold, and this person bought it, and we did have it as part of the at the plowing match, the one that was in Air. Not the one in Roseville, the one that was in Air, which was much bigger than the one in Roseville. I was on the historic and antique subcommittee, and we had big tent set up for agriculture. Anyway, he loaned that piece for the plowing match, representing the Hamburg manufacturing. There was artifacts there from Watson's and Air. And so he's had it for quite a long time, and he did loan it for that exhibit. And it was
Okay.
it was a one of a kind piece.
Okay.
Jen?
I can't share my screen, but I just did a quick Google. If you go antique straw chopper images, it'll probably get you something, and then Al might recognize it.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Well, they're not exactly, they don't look like anything else. Also, as a farmer, I'm really keen on preserving some kind of, farming history.
Have you got room in your barn?
Or something like that, you better believe I'd find space.
Does it look like those, Al?
It might look like the second one on the top row.
Okay. There's the format's a little weird, but
Yeah, but it has the manufacturer's name right on it, like that one does.
huh. Neat.
Some of the ones that I saw have a much bigger flywheel.
Yeah, yeah. I should really talk to him and go see him and maybe take a couple of pictures, because I told him I'd get back to him. I told him because he wants to get rid of it. So
Mhm.
Okay.
if I had room, if I had room, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that one.
It might be closer to that.
Don't find a home for it. I will take it and figure out how to find a public, because I'm with Tracy. I would love to see it in the public domain and not in a private collector.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, but in many cases, that's the stuff that you love. That's the only way it's being saved is by private collectors, because museums are not interested. The Ag Museum doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
They are not interested in stuff like that, period.
We can learn so much from our history, and losing it is just
One-way street, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Well,
That's very neat. Anyone else? Anything else? We then are at next meeting, January 12th, 2022. I don't know how that happened. I assume we'll continue on the same time and date. That seems to work well, I think.
Yep.
And then Tracy, at our first meeting in January, we'll finalize our schedule for the year.
Exactly. And I'll draft it before as well, and then see how things go on whether we're doing virtual in person. We're just going to have to go month by month again.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Okay, then motion to adjourn. Mark? Oh,
I'd like to wish everybody a very happy holidays and a safe and happy one. And hope you can hopefully be with your friends and relatives, and that this in 2022 will get settled down and have a more normal life. We could always hope.
Thanks, Mark.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
I concur. I just was thinking
Same
maybe,
to you.
yeah, maybe Tracy should have had arranged for us all to get a turkey.
Well, funny you say
I told
that.
I
Yes,
told
I did.
Tracy she needed to bring out the turkey that she has on display
Yes.
at Castle Kilbride.
Yeah.
And
Dining room.
where is it? Where
She-
do you see it? I
She
don't
asked-
see it.
She did
I have
ask
a
me
dog here.
multiple times if the dining room table inside the castle, if I'd bring
All
me
you had to
big
do was
turkey.
dust it off, Tracy. It was already cooked.
I
There you
know.
go.
Yes, I was going to hold like a turkey on our meeting. But yes,
You
she
should
did
have
ask.
you should have set up your laptop or whatever to sit at that table for them.
You know what? I could have done that.
Missed
The,
opportunity.
the cookie was perfect. It was just a really nice thing.
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you.
great.
Glad everyone
Mhm.
liked it.
Okay, well, I'll say
All right.
good night then.
Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for
Yeah,
tuning in.
good night. Merry
Bye.
Christmas,
Good
everyone.
night.
Thank you.